Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Feazell, and I'm your host of The Edge on IC Radio. We're your source for news and entertainment. You can also find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications. We're going to be here today. We're in the kitchen, and so I found some blackberries that I had gathered from the blackberry vines last summer, and so I went on ahead and got those. I want to make some blackberry juice. I want to show you how to do that. I can hardly wait. This is in February right now, so you can make fresh blackberry juice with some things that maybe you put those up in the freezer just like I did. So I'm going to go through the whole canning method right now so you can see what I'm talking about. Now, I don't use a lot of sugar in mine, okay, and there are a couple of variations, a couple of things I do. Now, when we're on a break, I'm going to show you how to make tea while we're waiting on it to boil. So I boil this juice twice. I like to keep it on the stove, and I'm going ahead and grab it off the stove real quick so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, and I hope you can see this. You can see this blackberry juice. Now, one thing I like to do, now mine are tame blackberries. But let's just say you're going out into the field, you found some pasture somewhere that has some blackberries, and maybe they're not tame blackberries. All you got to do, I use baking soda for everything. Now you can use the store brand, whatever you want to do, but I'm going to go on ahead and just get a pinch. That's all it takes, just a pinch. But I want to show you what it does. We'll move this over here to the side. So take a glimpse. Okay, so you can see the blackberry juice. I'll turn the camera down so you can see it just a little bit so you know what I'm talking about. There we go. And watch what happens. Ding. So what I'm doing, see, it makes this little fizzy-like thing. It only takes a touch, okay? So I'm putting this through, and what this does, actually, it kind of neutralizes the blackberries. And another thing it will do is take that tartness out of wild blackberries or any kind of berries that you may have as well. Okay, we're going to go ahead and put this up just for a second because we're going to do a lot of really neat things in a short period of time. Okay, so I will need to go into a commercial break about halfway through so we can pay for the show. But again, thank you so much for watching. So I've done this. Now, you can go on ahead and use the whole berry if you would like, but I want to show you something. Okay, so this is a jar of blackberry juice I made last year. Okay, and it's still good. And there are a couple of tips that you want to use to make sure that it does stay sealed. And you know, sometimes I talk to you guys about the mother. Like the mother of any kind of juice. So you can see them. I use a lot of it, okay? But now we have a lot of blackberries and a lot of muscadines and things that come off, and blueberries too, by the way. So what I like to do is I leave a lot. I take the berries out, but I strain it. But now I want a lot of this, they call it the mother, but basically what that is pulp. You know, that's from the berries. And it's so good for you. It's good for your skin. It's good for your, if you get colds. I have asthma. And so drinking this juice every morning, and again, it's good for you. It's from the land. It's from our land right here on the farm. And so it's just so good for you. And it's so healthy. But here's what you have to do. You got to shake it, okay? And make sure your lid's on real tight. I'm just telling you things I've done. So the lid must be tight. And so you'll go ahead and shake it just like that. And then that way you're getting all that lusciousness right there when you're drinking your juice in the morning or at night before you go to bed, just whatever works for you. But anyway, this is what I like to do every day. So I'll go ahead and move this over and get it out of the way. Now we're going to talk about straining it. Okay, so let me move a few things so we can have some room to work with. And I'm going to move that jar right there. Okay, so I love to can, and I love to strain the blackberries. I just like anything to do with cooking. It's just my thing. And so this is a strainer, Now make sure all of your utensils are clean. Make sure that you sterilized everything, because that's really, really important. So here we go. Here's one of my stock pans. I probably have about 6 of these because I do a lot of canning and I don't have to wait on anything, okay? Just go ahead and stick it in there, okay? Now make sure you got it on there good and stabilized, okay? All right, we'll move a couple more things out of the way and we're going to get right to it. Okay, oh, we don't need that yet. Let's just go ahead and use this. Now, I only use 1 tablespoon of sugar, but let's go ahead and strain it right now, okay? All right, put this right there. Okay, so the first thing I'll do, though, I'll go on ahead and I will pour up a lot of this juice that you can see. Let me move the camera so you can see it a little better. Okay, cool. Okay, so let's go on ahead and first we'll just pour some in there. And again, it's going through the strainer. Now I like to, when I'm freezing my blackberries, I don't wash them, okay? I don't wash them while they're in the freezer. And what I do, when I take them out of the freezer, I'll go on ahead and wash them again. Okay. All right, I'm going to pour these through. Okay, so this is going to make a whole lot of blackberry juice. And I'm going to go on ahead and put some more water in this jar. You'll see what I'm talking about a little bit later. Because you're going to need to add. Okay. And all of this starts making sense in just a few minutes. Always make sure you got your dishcloth handy, okay, to wipe up any, because this blackberry juice is staining, okay? All right, let's go ahead and pour now some. So I've got some of the blackberries that are coming through in here as well. Okay, now this part of the blackberry juice, that's what is going to make what I call the mother, okay? And so the mother is a real important part to it again. And so here I am, I'm pouring some water in here. And I'll do a couple of those. Okay, now you want to stick the I don't know what you call this, I call it the rod. And then what you're doing is you're straining it. And as you're straining it, see that mother part, the really, really thick part? What you're doing is you're using the mother part without the seeds, okay? Because, I mean, you're not going to be able to eat it really well or drink it really well if you've got seeds in the way. Now, I believe in getting every little last particle out of here. Now, while I'm doing this, let's talk about washing the berries, okay? So I'll go ahead and I get the frozen berries, I put them in the sink, and I put some water in there. Now, as I'm pouring the water in there, I'm going to rinse them out about 3 different times, but the very first time before I put the berries in the sink water, what I'll do is get a little baking soda. Again, baking soda is my friend. Or you can use hydrogen peroxide, and what that'll do is any little tidbits of anything that you may have in there, it'll neutralize and it'll take that out. But now I like to rinse. Now you need to rinse these in. Need to do it in cold water. If you rinse it in hot water, what's going to happen is you're going to lose some of that beautiful juice that you've got there. Okay, let's go ahead and put this last little bit in there. I want to get all of that beautiful, beautiful juice in there, all that I can. Okay, you see it's really, really hot. Now what we're going to do before we actually start canning it, what I'm going to have to do is put it back on the stove again. I want it to get hot again. Okay, and I'm going to grab some more water and put it in the stock pan. Okay, and just a little bit more because I want to add to it. Okay. It's going to take me just a minute or so. All right, because see, I'm adding cold water. So let's go ahead and put that in there. Okay. Now you can, and this is still going to be a really thick like soup, and it's or juice, and it's also going to be putting the mother down in there. Okay. And it's still kind of hot. I want to get every bit of this wonderful juice that I can, every bit of that awesomeness from the berries. And by the way, you need to prune your berries in the late winter. You want to prune them, and it'll look like you're killing them. But what you're going to be doing is pruning those, and you'll be amazed at how much of that luscious juice that you're going to have. Okay, here I go. Let's go ahead and get that out. See, now it's still, you can still hear it. It still has a lot of juice in it. Still a lot of the mother part of that lusciousness right there. So I'm going to strain it, and I'm going to know that I've got everything out when those berries start hugging onto this more, onto this spattle, or what do you want to call it? The wooden. I have to find out what you call that. Okay, see, it's beginning now to. It's going to be holding on just a bit. Okay, I want you to see this and how this all turns out. It's just a wonderful thing. Okay. All right. See what I'm talking about? Now it's holding on to that. So you can see, this way. Okay, so you can see it's holding on. That means that you've got just about everything out that you can. Okay, let's go ahead and shake it off. And we're going to move this out of the way, okay? It goes into the sink. And this part goes into the sink too. I'll make sure we got it cleaned really well. Okay, so see all this beautiful juice I have right here. Okay, now let's go ahead and put it back on the stove again, because I want it to be boiling hot. I mean, very boiling hot. I'm going to go ahead and clean my work area up here just a little bit. Now, while we're waiting on this to do its thing and to get hot, I'm going to show you what I do when I'm making my tea. And so I've got this trick, and I learned from a friend of mine who used to work at Shoney's. And I said, your tea is always good, even if I come for a late lunch. You know, some restaurants you go to, the tea kind of like has this little taste to it on up in the day. I said, what do you guys do? How is it so luscious? How is it so good? And she said, baking soda. So here we go again. So I have been boiling, okay, just a couple of tea bags, just two, and they're two of the big ones. And so what I'll do is put a little bit of baking soda. Right here you get to see this little chemical reaction. You know, cooking is kind of like science, you know, because you measure things and you get this right combination. And the kids will love to make tea if you'll just do this one thing. Look. And so it starts making this little fizzy kind of a look. Isn't that neat? All right, I'll get this out of the way. Now, I don't use a lot of sugar in my tea, and you won't have to. So I'm going to show you something else that you can do. I use about maybe 3/4 cup of sugar. So this is what you want to do, okay? Because I've put that little bit of baking soda in there, it's kind of taken that tartness out of the tea, okay? And it kind of gives it a sweeter taste. So this is what I like to do. We're going ahead and pour the sugar. Again, you don't have to put a lot of sugar in there, and it's much better for you if you don't put a ton of sugar in there. Okay, so let's go ahead and move the camera down again so you can see what I'm doing. And here we go. Let's put a little bit of this in here. Okay, and while it's hot, you want to go ahead and stir the sugar in there. And I'll have to tell you something else I like to do. I add more water. I want to get every bit of that luscious tea out of those bags. So by adding more warm water, and I'll just keep filling up this little tea jug right here. This was my grandmother's, by the way. Drank a lot of tea out of that tea jug. And so then all I've got to do is finish up with the tea, and I'm done. Okay, I'm a little bit behind. Let's go ahead and cut into a commercial break, and we're going to be right back in just a minute. So y'all hang in there, okay? at Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020. We're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant. Let Rhonda at Rhonda's Elite Tax LLC take the burden off you for all your tax needs. I know because Rhonda has been taking care of my business since 2013. I feel Rhonda works for me because she knows the direct questions to ask to better benefit my unique business in order for me to get back the biggest refund possible. Rhonda is an ongoing student, and she knows tax laws are in a constant change every year. Call 256-281-9903 for an appointment to take the dread out of getting your taxes done. Rhonda is located at 11968 U.S. Highway 431 in Boaz. Again, that number is 256-281-9903. And let Rhonda's Elite Tax LLC champion your personal and business taxes. Jeff McCurdy of the McCurdy Law Firm has been a public service of this area for over 10 years. McCurdy, a member of the Henniger City Council, serves as prosecutor for the town of Sylvania and was named public defender for the city of Rainsville. The McCurdy Law Firm is located at 17326 Alabama Highway 75 in Henniger to better represent his Jackson and DeKalb County clients. If you need to be represented by a true public servant with proven success, call Jeff at 256-996-8701 or send a private email to mccurdylawfirm@gmail.com. No representation is made that the legal services performed is greater than the legal services performed by other lawyers. At Liberty Bank, we're all about community, whether it's to help with a charity fundraiser or help families in need. Toys at Christmas or a local football team, we're here for you. You see, we realize the importance of family. Sometimes it's to build a new home or necessary home repairs. We're here for you. If you like the feel of a small town bank with all the conveniences of a big city bank, we're here to serve you. You will find us at any of our convenient locations in DeKalb, Marshall, Etowah, and Blount counties in North Alabama. You can call and speak with any of our friendly staff at 256-659-2175 or check us out on the web at libertybankal.com. And thank you for your support of our community. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender. The only place I buy my beef is Lone Tree Ranch in Collinsville, Alabama. Their cattle is born and raised on their ranch, grass and grain fed, and you can feel confident when you serve your family and friends because their beef is all natural and no antibiotics or hormones are added. You can buy whole beef or perhaps go in with family or friends and buy half. Their customer service is number one as they take care of the delivery to their local processor and can deliver to your home for a small added fee. They also offer herd replacement heifers. I always call Lone Tree Ranch in Collinsville, Alabama for my beef specialty recipes and cookouts, and you can too. Food shortages are increasing, so buy local by calling 256-523-6462. That's 256-523-6462.
Are you ready?
We all wonder what tomorrow will bring.
but the future lays itself at the feet of the prepared and surrenders to the will of the persistent. It's not easy, but today shapes you so you can shape tomorrow. With Northeast Alabama Community College, when the future asks if you're ready, you can answer
yes.
Begin your future at Northeast Alabama Community College.
We're back. My name is Donna Fiesel, and I'm your host of The Edge on IC Radio. We're in the kitchen right now. You can find us cooking. I'm canning. I found some blackberries in the freezer from last year that I didn't do anything with. And so we're going to be making some juice. Now, as we discovered earlier, I put a lot of the mother in mine, and you can see that. And before you use it, you're going to have to shake it. You can't buy it like this. If you were to go to Whole Foods, you wouldn't be able to find this kind of juice right here, and it's so good for you. It's so luscious. It's so good for your skin. It's so good for your well-being. It's so good for you mentally. I mean, it's good for everything. So what we're going to do, I always like to heat my jars. Okay, now I clean all of my jars in the dishwasher. So what I like to do, because they'll get cold after a while, I like to get one of these big utensils right here, pans, whatever you want to call it, and I put some water on the bottom of it, okay? And then I'll go ahead and turn the oven on about 350 degrees. I put all of my jars in there because, especially this time of the year, when we got the winter time going on, then if this hot juice hits a cold jar, believe me, I've done this. So if that happens, what's going to happen is you're going to have a disaster. Okay, you're going to have juice. Your jar is going to burst into 10 million pieces. You're going to have a lot of cleanup that you're going to have to do. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about a couple more things before we get started. Okay, first of all, I like to go ahead and put the sugar in the jars, okay, at the bottom of the jars. And like I said, I only use a tablespoon. Okay, so there we go. Just a tablespoon per jar. Okay, now the jar is nice and warm. So let's go ahead and move this down so you can see what I'm doing. And one more little step too. I need to get something else out of the cabinet. It's going to take me just a minute to do it. And my scissors. And by the way, keep scissors in your kitchen that are only to be used on your food, okay? Only on the food. Okay, so there we go. All right. And again, only use a tablespoon of the sugar per jar. Okay, now let's talk a little bit about canning lids. Okay, right here, you see I've had these in boiling water. Now I'm going to show you what a lid looks like before you put it in there. What happens is when you put these lids in boiling water, it's going to fluff up this little rubber ring right here, okay? You don't have to do this, but I will say this. I always have perfect sealing. It's very, very rare I have a jar that doesn't seal. Okay, so I can take it out like this. Like I said, it's just not going to do the job you need it to do. Okay, so be really careful. Let's go ahead and get one of these lids ready. And I'm going to set it down on a towel. Okay, now let's go ahead and get this lid. And we're going to get the juice. And we're going to add it to the jar, okay? So if I can move these things around so you can see it. Okay, I want to make sure you see. Okay, it's nice and warm. Now, if I were to put this into a cold jar, oh boy, we're going to have a mess we're going to have to clean up. And I don't think you're going to want to come to my house and clean it up either. Okay, look how beautiful that is. Okay, you don't have to add any kind of color or anything. It's just beautiful. So let's go ahead and fill this jar up. Okay, now don't fill it all the way to the top. What you want to do is leave a little bit of air in there, okay? And again, 1 tablespoon of sugar. You're going to be amazed at how sweet this tastes. I get it up to just about right there before you get to the rim part. Okay, let's go ahead and swap that lid. I'm going to put this down here to the side. Okay, I've got my lid. I've just taken it out of the water. And then I'm going to get this lid, the little metal rim. Okay, now it's pretty hot, so you might want to use a towel. So there we go. The fun part too, now listen, you know it's not sealed. Okay, see, that's not sealed. Okay, this takes a little while for it to happen. Now you'll know it's sealed when you can do this and it doesn't make that sound. See, this is from the older one. It's from the one we did earlier. Okay, I'm setting him over here to the side. Let's go ahead and get another one. I want to put another tablespoon of sugar. There we go. And again, this is a warm jar. You don't want to do this unless the jar is just very, very warm. Now, if you forget and you don't heat these jars, make sure you put a bowl or something under there just in case you do lose some of that, okay? Alrighty. Now, let's go ahead and grab another lid. I think we can go ahead and run the water out of that now. Okay. I probably don't have a whole lot of feeling in my fingertips because when I cook, I hardly ever use, I should be not doing this, but don't do when I do as I say, okay? So here we go. Make sure you get that on good and tight. And it doesn't have to be so tight that you have to have vice grips to get to get it fixed. Okay, here's another nice warm jar. Okay. And I want to put a tablespoon of sugar. Just a tablespoon, what was that? Mary Poppins, just a tablespoon of sugar helps the medicine go down. I'll tell you what, it's real good for this too. And again, part of the neutralizer and the reason that it still tastes sweet is because we used baking soda. Now just a touch. Now what I mean by a touch is probably less than, I'm going to say probably less than probably less than an eighth a tablespoon, I'm going to say. Alright, let's go ahead and get another one and dry it off just a little bit too, and make sure there's nothing around the rim of that jar as well. So here we go. Alright, so we already have 3 of them. And see how beautiful and luscious that is? That is just gorgeous. Okay, I'm going to grab another one right here. Got to make sure now that those lids are nice and warm. They're cooling off just a little bit, but that's okay. Put another tablespoon. We'll do a couple more of these so you can see what we're doing. This is probably going to make about, probably about 10 quarts of this. Now, if you had to buy this, oh my goodness. And with today's inflation, who knows? Probably $12 a jar at this point. Isn't it crazy how everything is went up? Electricity, your canning, and also if you can go online right now and buy your jars and your lids, I'd say do it, okay? Because who knows with supply and demand, and who would have thought eggs would be the price they are? The more you can do, the more money you'll save, and also the better your family's going to eat. Okay. All right. I wanted to thank you so much for watching The Edge. My name is Donna Thiesel, and I'm your host, and I appreciate you watching this every day, Monday through Friday, beginning at 1 o'clock from 1 to 3 p.m. Central, as I get to ride home with you in the afternoon. Absolutely. Any remarks, anything you would like to add? If you would like for me to have a special show, something that you would like to see me do, I may have to go and work at it. It could be something I've never done before, but I'm into trying it. So anyway, again, thank you so much for watching. You can find us on the web at icradio.media. You can also find us on syndicated television, channel 182 on Charter Communications, as well as Abundance TV, which is found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. I hope you've had a good time. I hope you've learned something today. Send me some messages and let me know. And again, any ideas that you have about canning that we could share with all of our audience, I'd be glad to store that out there for you as well. You can send an email to Donna@icradio.media. That's Donna@icradio.media. icradio.media. Thank you again so much for watching. The apple in my eye, I promise.